Welcome back to another session of construction material management. Students, in the previous session of the construction material management, we have studied about why we need material management and what are the functions of material management. So, I hope we are clear about it. If you are not aware that what is actually material management is, why we do, what are the aims and objectives, what are the functions. There are 10 functions such as materials planning, procurement, custody, material accounting, transportation, material codification, inventory control and management, computerization, source development and disposal. So there were 10 functions. So if you are not aware about those, kindly go back to the previous video, watch it completely and then come back to this session. So today in this session we are going to learn about inventory management and control systems. Yes, inventory management and control systems. So let us begin with what is inventory and what are the inventory control systems. So students, as discussed in the previous session, that inventory is resources which are going to be used but currently in the idle condition. Generally we label them as stock. So raw material, finished goods, everything can be termed as inventory or the stock in construction. So inventory works as an indicator which represents the effectiveness of the material management. It basically deals with the optimal policies for the procurement and the management of the materials. Alright, so there is inventory turnover ratio, which is annual demand divided by average turnover. This index is very important while you are making a business decision. Now let us look at the functions of inventory management. Inventory is considered as necessary evil. Here are the inventory management function. That first is it aims at the absorbing the demand and supply, uncertainty between demand and supply. That if you have proper inventory management, then you can have the absorb the gap between demand and supply. Second is time lag between the material delivery that necessitates the inventory management. See students, in our construction, you very well aware that every material is not reached site on the time. For an example, if I call you on the morning that I need on the evening, it may happen that you deliver on the next morning, or you will say that 2 or 3 days will be there to deliver the. So there are time lags, the point of order, and when you receive the material there is certain time lag. So this time lag, due to this time lag, we need to have some certain stock or certain inventory. Quantity discounts offered by the suppliers. The next is anticipate the rise in the prices of material or non-availability of the material. So these are the various functions of inventory management. Now let us look at what are the methods of selective inventory control. So in typical construction project, we require literally thousands and thousands of material. So applying scientific inventory control is not desirable, as it will increase the cost, as well as it will not give the data which we require. See, I cannot I cannot treat the binding wire or the nails at same level with cement and steel. I hope you are getting my point. So scientific method we can't apply. So we have to apply the selective control methods. So there are 3 selective control methods which we are going to learn. That is ABC analysis, VED analysis, and then there is FSN analysis. Let us begin our discussion with ABC analysis. So students, ABC analysis stands for always better control. Always better control. Now the fundamental logic of this ABC analysis is that in our construction, it follows the 80-20 rule. 80-20 rule. Now what is 80-20 rule? So 80-20 rule says that in our construction, 80% of the material are consuming 20% cost of the material, while 20% of the material consumes 80% cost of the materials. Reverse, 80-20. That in our construction, there are large number of materials who occupies very less cost, and there are less number of materials who occupies very large cost. Let us have a practical example. Imagine cement, sand, aggregate, steel and bricks. In numbers they are 5, but if we talk about the cost of these 5 materials, there will be huge. So 20% of material occupies 80% cost, and 80% of materials such as chemical, admixture, nail, binding wire, etc. occupies only 20% of the cost. That is your concept of ABC analysis. It is based on Pareto's law that in the large group there are significant few and insignificant many. That there are few materials which are significant and there are more materials they are insignificant. Alright. So when I'm trying to do inventory management, my focus is on that significant few. First, when I'm doing the material management or inventory control, my focus should be first identify what are the few materials which are consuming high cost of my material budget, and then I focus on them first and then those remaining materials. Alright. So that is my always better control ABC analysis. Now let us see with a certain data what is the procedure to conduct ABC analysis. Let us see that. So here is the procedure for conducting ABC analysis, or we can say to draw the ABC curve. So the first is determining what materials are required in what quantity. Then unit rates of the each material is worked out. After that usage value is found out. Usage value equals to annual usage of that material multiplied with the unit cost. Now this usage value cost is converted into percentage with the help of total annual usage cost or the total material project cost. Then this percentage of usage of cost is now arranged in descending order like high to low, and then you plot the graph between, students, you need to plot the graph between percentage of annual usage cost versus percentage of average inventory items. Y versus X, percentage of average inventory value versus percentage of number of inventory items. So that is your process for ABC analysis. Now let us see a data and perform ABC analysis on that data so that we can have the idea. So before we move forward to the data, students, 80-20 is a generalized concept. In current practice, you can say that there is 70-20-10. That 70% are insignificant, 20 is mid significant, and 10% are high significant, A, B and C. So 70% are C, mid 20 are B, and the last are A. Alright. So now let us look at the data. So here is a data of having 10 items in a company, and we need to categorize them into A, B and C. You can see M1, M2, and G1, G2, G3, M1, M2, M3, M4 and P1, P2, P3. The average quantity and the unit prices are given to us in the question, the average usage. And so the first step is to find out the usage value. Now how to find the usage value? Quantity into cost. So let us do that. So here is the usage value, quantity into cost. Now let us prepare another column of rank. Let us relist the entire thing from high to low. So as you can see, G2 is having highest cost 21,450, then there is 16,800 and so on. So let us list according to the based on annual usage value. So these are the rankings of this. Now the total annual usage, the step was we need to convert into percentage based on total annual usage value. So the total annual usage value is 53,960 rupees. 53,960 rupees. Now let us see the cumulative annual usage value and the percentage of total against of the total usage value. Let us prepare that. So here is the list: G2, M3, M1, P1 and so on. Now that is the cumulative data. That for first it is 21,450. Now for M3 that is 16,800. So 21 plus 16, that will be 38,250, and so we need to add the cumulatives. Now the total was this, and first was 21,400, so percentage will be 39.75. I've rounded off by 39.8. Second was 38,250, against of that total was 53,000. So the percentage will be 70.9. All right. So similarly, I have prepared the entire percentage. Now, students, focus on the table. Look at the table again. First, out of 59,000, first two materials are occupying 38. So we can say that 40,000. They are occupying nearly 40,000 cost out of that 59. And remaining those materials are occupying only 19,000. See, in the percentage, the first two materials, up to first two materials we reach 71, and from 71 to 100 there are remaining 8 materials. So we can classify them up to 71A, 71 to 90B, and remaining 90C, or 90 to 100C. So that is your ABC classification. Now we need to plot the graph. The graph was between percentage of average annual cost and percentage of unit items. So there were 10 materials. Out of that, 2 was falling into A category. So 10 materials is 100%. So 2 materials are 20%. So 20% material are occupying 71% of cost. Now you are getting the concept of the original ABC, that less number of materials are occupying large volume of the cost. So let us prepare the graph. So here is how, this is how we'll be looking the curve. So so less material, high cost A, then there will be B, and outer portion there is C. So this is how we can perform the ABC analysis on the certain set of data. All right. So students, here the ABC analysis is only focusing on selective. This is selective method. Only focus is on based on usage value. Based on usage value. There are various benefits of the ABC analysis, such as we can have the safety stock as and when required, because we know the annual value, you know the cost, so we can have the safety stock. Then there is level of control, gradual delivery of material, and etc. There are various benefits we can say. But what I want to actually prove here, that it only uses one factor. There are a number of factors. Now let us see the features of ABC classification, that what we can convey through ABC analysis. That means A items need accurate forecasting, B items requires approximate forecasting, and C items not required any kind of forecasting. In procurement of A items, involvement of higher management is required. For B item, middle level staff involvement is required, and C item can be purchased by the staff engineers or the junior level staffs. So these are some of the features of conducting ABC analysis. Now let us see the VED analysis method. So VED analysis classifies the materials or the items based on the criticality. Criticality, that means if they are not available at the time, how critical they can be proved or how costly they can prove. Critical, how important they are. So VED stands for vital, essential and desirable. Vital, essential and desirable. See students, to understand the concept of vital, essential and desirable, or this criticality, let us take an example of car manufacturing plant. Let us assume that the car manufacturing plant is of three units. First unit, cutting of raw materials. Second, manufacturing of part. And third unit is assembling the entire car. We are having a car manufacturing factory. There are three units in the factory: raw material cutting, parts manufacturing, and assembling. Now I'm asking a question. You need to try to find the answer, such as what if unit number 3 stops? There is a breakdown in unit number 3. Will that affect 1 and 2? No, that is not going to affect 1 and 2. Your 1 and 2 are separate entity. Only car assembling will be stopped, but you can cut the raw materials and you can manufacture the parts. Alright, so there is very less expense occurs in what terms? There is less hurdles occur if unit number 3 stops. Now what if unit number 2 stops? See, you cannot manufacture the parts, but still you are having the cutting of raw materials. But now what if the unit number 1 stops? The entire production chain will stop. So now again think, who is vital, essential and desirable? Unit number 1, raw material cutting was vital. Unit number 2, that is essential. And unit number 3 was desirable, that is less critical. So vital, essential and desirable. I hope you are clear about now what is vital, essential and desirable. So basically vital items are those items which are having very high stock out cost. Essential are mid stock out cost, and desirable are having very low stock out cost. So that is your vital, essential, desirable. Now students, let me tell you a construction industry example. Let us talk about nails, which we can pronounce as khilli, or binding wire. So if we look at the material, they are not that much of importance in terms of cost. But now at the time of the formwork of slab, if they are not available, if they are not run out of stock, the entire work can be stopped. And this can happen. This can literally happen, that there are all the huge formworks material. There are plywood and firmas and tekas and couplock system, jack system are available, but the nails and the binding wire is not there. So what will your subcontractor do? Your subcontractor will stop the work immediately, because without them the work cannot happen. So criticality, the material is very low in terms of cost, but their criticality is very important. So that is how VED works. Alright, now let us understand the procedure for VED analysis. So to conduct VED analysis, we are considering 4 factors: stock out cost, lead time, nature of material and source of supply. Now the method says that you need to measure, or you need to classify each material based on these 4 criteria, based on these 4 factors. Now assign the points to these categories and divide the material into first category, second category and third category. Then based on importance, assign the values to that, and then do the total of that points for each category. And based on the total grouping, like for 100 to 150 desirable, 150 to 250 essential and greater than 250 vital. So you have a group, and based on that you have to classify into VED. Alright, so that is your VED system. Now the last selective inventory control method is FSN analysis. Let us see that. So FSN stands for fast, slow and non-moving. Fast, slow and non-moving. So students, FSN and the classification of the materials is based on rate of consumption, how frequently they are being used in the project. some of the material in our construction are fastly consumed, some of the materials are slowly consumed, and some of the materials are non-moving, fast, slow and non-moving. For an example, let us talk about white cement. So white cement is such material, if I purchase 20 or 30 bags initially, I can have the entire project with that 30 because the role of white cement is very low. So that is non-moving material. Slow, which are used to procure at quarterly or very low times, and fast, we need to purchase very routine at routine intervals. So that is fast. Alright. So this is one of the easiest method to classify and one of the easiest method to employ by the store in charge. Like if there is a store person, if he classifies the fast, slow and non-moving, so he can have the idea that this much of materials are fast moving, so I need to have the certain stock. This much of materials are slow moving, so I have to average stock, and this much materials are non-moving, so I don't have to waste the money behind purchasing extra stock of them. Alright, so fast, slow and non-moving. So this is how we can classify the selective inventory control method. ABC analysis, always better control based on usage value. VED analysis, vital, essential, desirable based on criticality. And the third is FSN analysis based on rate of consumption. So I hope we are clear up to this point. Now students, let us understand the scenario. For an example, if you are a planning engineer, you have estimated that in a project there will be 12,000 cement bags used. Your estimate says that you require 12,000 cement bags. Now, how will you purchase that? Will you purchase 12,000 at a time? Or will you purchase 6 in the lot of 6,000 two times? Or will you purchase in the 4,000 three times? Or will you purchase 3,000 four times? Or will you purchase 2,000 six times? Or will you purchase 1,000 12 times? What will be your purchasing strategy? What will be your purchasing strategy? Because when you order a material, you are not only paying the material charge, you are paying ordering charge, storing or handling charge, transportation or loading unloading charge, and stock out charge. Apart from the material cost, there are 4 kind of cost. So in the next session, we are going to understand this scenario, and there is the concept of economic order quantity. Alright. So this is it. That was all about for today's session. In case of any query or doubt, you can always contact me on my mail or my number. Thank you.